So before I get in some of the COVID updates, pandemic as a press conference here, we want to just address some of the issues that we're working with, in particular about addressing homelessness, in terms of what our office is doing, what the Lieutenant Governor is doing, and our entire administration, working on that issue. So I've personally met with the homeless providers in the state, in addition to visiting with individuals experiencing homelessness at the Amos House. Recently announced a $5 million in funding to emergency shelters, providers to increase the number of beds this winter season around the state of Rhode Island. And our state's Office for Housing and Community Development have approved multi-million-dollar proposals to continue the emergency hotel shelter program until the spring. So I think that that's important information that we can provide. In addition to that, we announced yesterday, today actually, will be publicly announced that $31 million of funding that was approved by administration's Housing Resource Commission to support 23 new housing projects across 13 cities and towns, creating or preserving over 600 units of affordable and low-income housing. So we recognize that more needs to be done, and that's why I also included close to $30 million in our down payment proposal, currently being looked at by our General Assembly. This new near-term investment would supplement services for homeless individuals and families to build more affordable and supportive housing and to boost the capacity of the state's Office of Housing and Community Development. So I want to thank everybody who's partnered in on this issue and making sure that we're addressing the short-term issues of homelessness in the state as winter approaches, and then also committing to make sure that we are creating long-term strategies as well, and ways that we can repeat the issues in terms of working with the homeless on a year-round basis, but in particular as the weather gets cold. So I'd also like to update on the Omicron variant, which I know is the top of mind for many folks. As we're already seeing, there's a lot to learn about this variant, and we know what works to prevent the spread of this illness: vaccinations, mask wearing, distancing, and hand washing. We continue to reinforce that, as our Department of Health and Dr. Alexander Scott have done and championed so well over the last 20-plus months. The PCR tests we've been using to test for months can clearly identify this new variant, and the state health lab is already sequencing positive PCR test results. Please be assured that the Governor's office, our office, is working lockstep with the Department of Health, Department of Education, along with all our municipal leaders and national partners at the National Governors Association, the White House COVID response team. As President Biden and our health leaders have recommended, please continue to wear masks inside under certain circumstances, and only about 20% right now of Rhode Islanders are currently report wearing a mask in public where it is not required. If we can bump up this number, we can also, as we get into the winter season and we go indoors, use caution and protect yourself and protect your family. And we also seeing we'll be able to slow the spread of the COVID as well as the flu, right? And the flu is now here. We know that the new variant is not in Rhode Island, but we are preparing as we did with the Delta, if in fact it does get to Rhode Island. So I would also say that we're lucky to have a strong Department of Health team, and you're going to hear from the doctor shortly, and the infrastructure that's been developed in Rhode Island. And as I've said publicly, that work does prepare us for these scenarios as we were able to deal with the Delta variant, and we'll make sure that we get the information that we need and let the people in the state of Rhode Island know exactly what's happening. The anticipation is that the vaccine is going to be, will protect us in the way that it has been, but if in fact that's different, we'll let you know. So Rhode Island remains in the top 5 of adult population fully vaccinated. and partially vaccinated. 94%, over 95%, almost 95%, what I saw this morning of Rhode Island adults have received at least one shot. And so I thank everybody in the state of Rhode Island for responding the way they have. If you have not got vaccinated yet, please do so. If you're not intending to get vaccinated, make sure you thank a friend of get vaccinated who has got vaccinated. Safe. 83% of Rhode Islanders of all ages have received at least one shot, and overall 73.5% of Rhode Islanders of all ages have completed a primary vaccine series. We continue to lead the nation in testing, and the vaccinations, I think the last report I saw was that we're second in the country, about 2,000 shots away from being the first in the country. So I encourage more and more people to get vaccinated out there. It would be nice not to just say that we're number 2 in the country in vaccinations. How about let's try to be number 1 in that vaccination strategy. So as I've said, I thank all our municipality, our emergency management teams, schools, pharmacy teams who have hosted hundreds of clinics, as the superintendent just did. Thank you so much. And about it. And we vaccinated almost 20,000 of our 5 to 11-year-olds in the state of Rhode Island. Half of those administrations are taking place at school-based clinics. So thank you so much for all our schools, and on behalf of yourself and the Superintendent Association for your leadership there, Larry. Thank you so much for continuing to understand that vaccinating our young people do keep our young people in school and safely in school, and that's one of the 3 priorities that we've had since I've been governor, making sure that our economy opens up, continue to lead the Northeast on our economic recovery, as well as second in the country on that. But we also want to make sure that we're keeping people safe, as I just kind of outlined how we're doing that right now in the state. But also we want to have our students in the classroom, safely in the classroom, as we approach the winter season. So boosters, if you've completed your primary vaccination series 6 or more months ago, the science tells us that your protection is waning. And all Rhode Islanders 18 and older are eligible to get booster shots today. That was announced a few days ago by the Department of Health and Dr. Alexander Scott, that 18-year and olders are now eligible. Sign up at vaccinateri.org or your local pharmacy website, and I want to repeat that everyone is eligible. With high daily case counts and high levels of community transmission, are not unexpected at this time of the year for either the COVID virus or the flu virus. We need to stay strong. That's because our high vaccination rates, as I said, the high vaccination rates are helping the reason that our hospitalization rates are significantly less than a year ago, yet the infection rate has increased over the last few weeks. But we are still seeing increases in some hospitalizations, but it's still at a level that that the hospitals are able to manage, and we want to keep it that way. So, and what we're here today to talk about is the test to stay. And I wanted to emphasize, again, our Department of Education, along with our Department of Health, for their work on this. And we're very excited to be here in Lincoln today, because we need to layer all the mitigation strategies we have to keep one another healthy and safe throughout the holiday season, while keeping our economic recovery moving ahead full force. That means getting vaccinated, getting boosted, testing often, getting a flu shot, washing your hands frequently, wearing a high-quality mask, and participating in programs like Test to Stay. The Westerly pilot was a success. We announced that a few weeks back. I got a nice text from the superintendent of schools in Westerly about a week ago, saying that they were able to save about 315 school days were saved. That means that young students who may have been in contact with somebody who has been tested with COVID now has the options in Westerly with parent approvals, to be tested on a daily basis so that they can stay in the classroom. and the superintendent there was very thrilled that they were able to keep their students in the classroom, just like Lincoln superintendent was just saying. So our parents and staff were surveyed on this down in Westerly, and I believe there was about a very high percentage. I think it was like 97% of the families and the parents really thought it was a great asset. And I think it's going to be really important here in Lincoln. And then we're also opening that up today to any school district in the state of Rhode Island that would be interested in a test-to-stay program that will help keep our students safely in the classrooms. So finally, I would just say that, first, Happy Hanukkah to all. I see Rep. Ackerman here right now. Happy Hanukkah to you. Rep. Socross, thank you for being here as well. With the holidays coming up, there's so much to be thankful for and to celebrate this year. Let's make sure that we take the simple steps necessary to keep our loved ones safe and healthy.